I see a dynamic that I think lots of Muslims have experienced in the United States, which is when they're given positions of power or are in a position of public scrutiny, that their faith is often the first thing that gets scrutinized. I think I saw the degree of Islamophobia that Mumdani was already facing after the Democratic primary nomination in June, and was shocked not just at the cadence of attacks, but also the kind of rhetoric that was being used against him by people within his own party. A week or so, we're seeing kind of outright Islamophobic attacks against him, where politicians have said things like another 9/11 could happen if he were to become mayor. They've outright called him a jihadist or terrorist. But in the weeks prior to that, what we've seen is kind of a normalization of Islamophobic attacks against him, accusations of him being anti-Semitic, accusations of him harboring hatred towards Jews. And these kinds of accusations are ones that I think many Muslims are very familiar with. So we've kind of witnessed these attacks as a way to sideline us when we enter positions of power. And with Mumdani being one of the most high-profile politicians right now with the Muslim faith, that's kind of become the main line of attack against him. You know, I think advocating for Palestine is a complicated and difficult thing to do in the United States for a variety of reasons, but advocating for Palestinian rights while being Muslim is a particularly unique experience. And I think part of that is because anti-Palestinian sentiment kind of rides on the back of Islamophobic ideas of who Muslims are. So when Muslims such as Mumdani advocate for Palestinian human rights, it becomes not just that they're, advocating for Palestinians, but they're advocating for violence or attacks against Jews. And that's exactly what we've seen, the accusations being hurled against him.